Hey everyone, it's AG. Welcome to the comic book collection update. Uh, we got about 8 of them. Just a head up. I don't know. It gotta really interest me next week to get number ones because I'm tired of starting new issues. Um, but we got them. We got these. It's a good bit. Let's just jump into it, bro. It was a lot of reading, and I think I just finished like right before, like an hour, 2, maybe 3 hours before I starting this video or editing this video. So let's get started. Okay, this is gonna be a short one, yo. But it's Krypto, Last Dog of Krypton, issue 3. Real simple, straight to the point. He saved the young girl in the woods. Uh, as we left off, he ran away from Lex Luthor. He's this up there. He's wandering in the woods now. He's chasing deer. He's just doing random things in the wood what dogs would do. It's wintertime. Young girls in the woods lost, and she was like she seen them. They were like, "Oh, we must be lost together. I thought you was a rescue dog. You ain't a rescue dog. I don't see no tag, so we're lost together." She shared her last little bit of granola bar. They just wandering around in the woods. It's just this is mostly like scenes, no real words, and you just see how they're just bonding because they're lost, them being lost and stuff like that. Well, then they sit up there and go to they find this little cave, not a little cave, a little den. They went up there to go to sleep to get out the snow and stuff like that. And Krypto like wakes up in the middle of the night and thinking to like nudge her, and it seems like she's getting less, like she's starting to move less. So he was like, all right, he was like barking, trying to wake her up, dragging her, trying to wake her up, and then she recently nudged, and he got her to wrap around her, and he runs off with her to try to get her to safety. And when it comes down to it, like you know, his powers start to awaken where he can jump over far mile landscape. Which one of the scenes in the comic was like, oh, that looked like something that could be mounted on the wall with the little girl wrapped around his neck on his back, and he's jumping over the woods, the forest, and you see a small little town or like a little site or something like that where he can drop her, bring her to, and stuff like that. So, and he was running super fast and everything. So his powers awakened. Basically, he's starting to be, up in there, being his super dog thing. And with that being said, he basically made it to the hospital and blah blah. None of the other stuff matters. But he didn't stay when she woke up. He left. But that's really gist of it. Okay. We have the new Avengers, issue 3. Um, they trying to get Bruce Banner, but to do that, they got to knock down the Hulk for about 2 minutes and stuff like that. So Claire, so they ended up, who fought who. Let me see how that went. So Hulk sees him, Hulk gets some gas blown up on him to try to paralyze him or smoke screen him. He coughs a little bit, he turns around, bow, Namor back fist him, boom, talk about what's up, Banner, I owe you one of these, or is it that you owe me one of these? The Hulk, he shakes it off, talk about, that ain't nothing. And then Black Widow comes and put this little thing to paralyze him, and he drops him down for a bit. Um, After that, Bucky and Claire Strange goes into his mind, go find Banner, try to get him to escape. He can't escape. The Hulk got Banner in control in there, but he says, "Hey, bro, this is how you find and try. You have to find the messed up Reed Richard. What it is, Doctor Apolopoulos or something like that. His name is, but to find him, you might need to go to Mexico, look for the cosmic rays. You'll find them that way." Basically, that's going to be said several times in this issue, so I'm not going to repeat those things. Um, gets back like while the thing was supposed to paralyze the Hulk for about maybe 2 minutes. It didn't, and basically he get thrown like Namor. He gets up, he grabs Namor, tosses Namor onto to Natasha the Black Widow, and then Laura comes out with her claws and start fighting Wolverine, but not fighting the Hulk and whooping the mess, like not whooping, but just fighting the Hulk. And like she started getting some confidence built in. She was like, "Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm big dogging. I'm out here. I'm the gangster out here. You heard me? You feel me?" But anyway, the Hulk really wasn't doing much. He was just getting stabbed up. He wasn't even really fighting back. But Claire and Bucky got up the frame and told Claire, "Hey, let's go to a safe house," or I think she was like, let's go to Mexico to find Reed Richard. But she sensed her husband somewhere else and she transported him there. And when they got there, they seen that whole bunch of bodies on the ground. And it was like, where are we? We're in Japan. And it's like, we're not supposed to be in Japan. We're supposed to be somewhere else going after Reed Richard. He can destroy the world with ease. And it's like, yeah, but I'm here to look for my husband. And they wondering something ain't right, all these bodies on the ground, they're alive, but they're just there, maybe just on the ground. And like all of a sudden, a symbiote comes out and it's Carnage. And Claire looks like he had Bucky at hostage, but then all of a sudden Claire grabbed him, separated the symbiote a little bit from who is the symbiote? Who is the one who carries the symbiote? Ah, that right. Eddie? No, that ain't right. Nah, that was Eddie there. And he's like, what is Eddie doing with, Eddie's just like, I'm just using this guy to do some things, which that comes up later, but like, it's not really important. So I'm not going to repeat that again. But he basically said he's just using Carnage to do things. And he's actually in good control with it too. So he's not really getting taken over. He's just looking for whoever is doing this nonsense. And that's when they find out that it's, Professor Extinction, the Charles Xavier clone, and they're fighting. So they start fighting him while Claire leaves. Claire leaves and went go find Doctor Strange, clones, and their what's his name is Professor Guru or something like that, and they sit up there. She have a little squabble with him, but he don't really fight her. He's just using his abilities. He just going to eat. He went go get real food, and like he escaped her, but she was like, she told him, I ain't got close enough that I can find you in different dimensions. Wherever you run to, I can find you for thousands. Like you could go thousands away from me. I'm going to find you easily because you let me get this close. And she was like, I'm coming. Well, I have to tell Bucky and his little group of friends later on, bye, but I gotta go. I gotta chase you down. So she's out. She's out the picture now. So Claire Strange's not part of the group. I think so. I remember when I first seen and I'm gonna go back uh and look at the freaking first issue. Carnage was on that one, so he's part of the team. I think he's gonna be part of the team because he do help out. Because while they're fighting Professor Extinction, he sits in the cut while Laura comes like when Laura tried to fight him, get pushed off, she ends up getting an idea like, hey, if we use this little shocker thing, boom, and shock to paralyze him, we should be able to finish him off because instead of him using his psychic powers to make us fight each other, he's just feeding off of us, and that's weird because that's two of them. That's like the two of the clones that's like looking for food. So it's a little weird what's going on because he's feeding off of people's psychic, mental, and like their everything, all their emotions and stuff like that. While instead of like using it to escape or anything like that. So with that being said, he I think Laura got Carnage to jump on him to hold him for a second. And when he flipped him off, like flipped Carnage off of him, Laura came, put the little shotgun thing, stunned him, and then kneeled down to him. And he was pleading for his life, talking about we can save our kind, we can save our kind, me and you. And she was like, I am. I'm saving them from you. And shoot, that's what that was on the bottom of the panel of this little scene when she said that. And it's just basically she went underneath his neck. I'm just assuming that she went underneath like his neck and let her claws go out through his head. So that's what happened. And like, cause Carnage was like, "Whoa, this what you guys are into?" And basically that was in him. So I think they destroyed Tony Stark's clone, and they destroyed who that is, Tony Stark clone and Professor Xavier clone. So they still have Reed Richards, Black Panthers, Namor's, and I want to say Black Bolt, something like that, Black Bolt. So they still got four more. So we're gonna see how that goes. But while they was discussing and wondering where Claire was, Namor's brain started getting taken over because the his clone is you making him is like superior in the sea creature telepathy thing technique, and he basically got Namor to fight the new Avengers. So we left off with like them all squaring up and about to throw some hands against each other, and we'll see what happens next issue. Okay, Venom, Black, White, and Blood. Just like the Predator one, it have three stories. So let's just begin. First story is when Eddie Brock and Venom was just basically getting adjusted to each other. So they were careless and they got captured. They chased down, they watched the guy caused experiments and stuff like that to homeless people, and it made Eddie Brock angry and he wanted justice for those homeless people and stuff like that. So he hunted that man down in the forest or jungle or whatever and basically dropped him off a cliff. That's just plain simple and done. It didn't go in the order. It basically went a different way. Read it, you might enjoy it how it is. But that's the first story. Second story. Ooh, how did the second story go? Because that one's not that memorable. Let me see. The second story was basically kid was dying in the street, and Eddie Brock gave him the chance to go get revenge. And when the kid went to go get revenge, he found out that the kid who shot him didn't mean to. It went off. He just was wanted to scare him before he can go. So basically, that kid let the one who shot him live, and he died because the symbiote he gave Venom to the kid for him to get revenge, but Venom was like, "Hey, look, I ain't gonna be able to keep you alive, but at the same time, I'll be able to, let you go do what you need to do." And that's what happened. He went go do he was about to go do what about to do what he wanted to do, but he didn't want to die and take someone with him who wasn't really trying to be a murderer themselves. So that happened and that kid died. But there was also Cletus was also there, and he told Cletus wasn't actually there. It was like this was a story told to Eddie to Cletus in jail, and Cletus was like, "I call bullshit. I don't believe that what it is." But it happened, and we don't know. But it's if it did, it did. If it didn't, it didn't. But we don't know. It's just a little short story. The next story is Venom talking. Eddie talking about how him and Venom stopped Carnage and his group of crazy people from destroying the city. Yeah, there was Spider-Man, Captain America, and whoever else helped to stop the others, but Venom stopped Carnage, almost lost their lives. But it's whatever. This story here is actually about a father and son, like basically situation of how the father can sit up there and traumatize the son and stuff like that. And it's about really Eddie's guilt. I'm talking about the reason why his father did not like him was because he killed his mother died during the birth of having him, and Eddie blames himself for killing his mom, and he thinks his dad, was that. And the only reason why we're talking about this because Venom is showing Eddie his guilt because they need to work together and be like, together. So he's making him see the guilt. He's making him fight the guilt because he seen a kid get like yelled at and grabbed, like was getting hurt by his dad grabbing his arm and putting him into the house. And Eddie was about to go do something about it till it's like it reminds him of his father. So Venom was like, "Nah, you got guilt built up with you because your father in a situation, and you blame yourself for Carnage doing what he did and killing all these people." So you know they fought through it, got through it, and then like he showed back up to that father who was hurting his kid, and the kid stood up to Venom, telling him, "Don't hurt my father." And like Venom thought about it and was like, you better do better," and left the man alone. So basically, that was the third story. If I gotta say which stories I like most, I like the father and son one because it was like a deep little thing. I didn't really get all too much details. It's three different stories. I say read it and see how y'all like it. The second one would be the first story, and then the third one would be the middle story about the kid going back for revenge and then not getting revenge. The second one would be the hunting of the professor and stuff like that. But I didn't get real details. I want y'all to actually go read this one. This one's actually not that bad, but in order, those are in the story was the ones I enjoy in the order. Last one first, first one second, second one third. Figure that out. Godzilla destroys the Marvel universe. We starts off in 2099 in the future. Godzilla basically destroyed the world. He beat all the Marvel people, but except for Johnny Storm, uh, Riri Stark, and Mister Fantastic. And let me just describe how Mister Fantastic looked. It's robot body with Riri and Stark all on the same body. So he put some smartest people on the on in one body to work together to make these things, and basically they still lost, but they was able to send something back in time to basically prevent Godzilla from destroying the universe. But that don't happen until you don't notice that until the end of the story. So let's find out what happened in between that little robot thing popping out to go look for the Fantastic Four Avengers to see to help out, with the Godzilla threat. So Godzilla's still destroying New York and stuff like that. Um, Doctor Strange get involved. Doctor Strange find out he's not even strong enough to beat Godzilla. But what Godzilla does that messes up him for sure, messes up everything for sure, is he steps on and crushes the No Name Bar where all the villains be at, and they've joined the fight, and they doing some little bit. They doing something. They ain't doing much, but one of the main ones that was about to sit up there and actually, caused a major problem was Venom. Um, he was about to sit up there and combine with Godzilla until Spider-Man grabbed Eddie Brock and Venom out because Venom had separated from Eddie Brock to try to go into Godzilla, but Spider-Man was like, "Nah, I don't think that's wise choice." And Doctor Strange was like, "Man, we need some help. Who else we can get to help out in this fight?" And he was naming off a list, and they set up there like Fing Fang. Thor, when they named Thor, they was like, Thor just got hit in space, but oh wait, he's right back, and he brought Fing Fang Foom, and they helped in the fight. They beat Godzilla, and some way somehow Godzilla they fought Godzilla before, but that's something that they basically mentioned. So I wonder which story is going to be part of this. Part of the canon of the stories beforehand, the versus Godzilla versus whoever. So I wonder which one's going to tie into this. But Godzilla still getting the best of all of them until Doctor Strange was like, "All right, man, let me do something to buy us some time," and he sent them to a different like planes, like he's on the walls of the universe. So basically, before he come crashing in, they gotta find out why he's doing it. but they also need help. And he said the best person to fight Godzilla is the Hulk, and that's who they're gonna go. That's what they're gonna use the time to do, is go find the Hulk and get him into this fight. And like I said, at the end, very end, they show like a boom, and like they show that little robot that in 2099 the Stark Reed and Reed Richard sent back. It pops up there, but yeah, we'll find out what that little robot is meant to do on the next on issue 3. Tales from the Shrouded College, the Coldwitch. All right, so we left off. Violet opened that freaking jar. A baby came out. It's the Coldwitch. She a baby now, and basically she pleads with. Well, not even. No, no. Let me take that back. She do not plead with the Coldwitch. She straight up tells the Coldwitch, "Listen, we're about to have some people come here and try to kill you. Well, no, try to kill me, and if they take you, they're gonna do whatever they want. They're gonna use your power. And I just want you to know is I'm here to help you out. Well, technically not really. I'm here to use you as well. I want to use your power to get revenge because my husband got killed by the Shrouded College. Oh, and my husband was the one that trapped you. So I'm just saying, I'm being honest of what I'm doing. They're gonna lie to you while using you. And I just want to let you know that's what happened to my husband. So how about you? Before we make a deal, I should be able to kill them who's coming after us, the assassins that are coming after us. But after that, me and you have a little discussion more. Now, baby sit up there and was like, hold up, you shall win. You can win. And then hit her with an icicle on the top of her forehead. And what happened is that icicle gave all the power. She is now Cold Violet. She is the Cold Witch. Uh, and when the assassins came in, they sit up there and attacked. One turned into like this beef type thing. He got his head frozen and then smashed off. Another assassin tried to shoot. Oh no, he was a necromancer and he tried to shoot a gun with store magic bullets and stuff like that, and it didn't work. And she summoned undead woolly mammoth and crushed him. Then there was a sorcerer that snuck up on her and like wrapped around her and was like, "Hey, you forgot about me, and let's try to bring this down a notch or 10." And Violet was like, "Nah, I've been thinking about you. I'm wondering how you, a woman, trying to seal another woman up, and try to kill one. How do you work with the Shrouded College like that? But don't." And I feel like it's wrong that you trying to seal us up for them. And then all of a sudden, Spice came out of the Violet's back and killed her. Now there was a fourth one, and he actually had a chance to sneak up and kill Violet, but he didn't because you know he know what Violet's doing. He's actually the one that helped her sneak into um, the Shrouded College to get the information about the Cold Witch and everything like that. And he told her, and she told him, "You know my cause is just. I just need you to do this. I won't touch your family in my wrath of revenge if you just open me a portal to the Shrouded College. After that, let me do my work, and that's it." And he opened up a portal, and he told him, "Do not sit up there and kill my people, kill my family. If you do, I don't care if I die. I will come back from the grave and come and get you." And she was like, "Look, you paid both of your debts, and after this, you will never got to worry about me. I definitely ain't about to touch your family. But right now, I got work to do." And it ends off there, and we're gonna find out what she can do against the Shrouded College. All right, Umbrella Academy Plan B is crazy, right? Because I enjoyed the first one, but this one it was like, issue 2 is just pointless. Why? Because I didn't understand nothing that was going on. You had the group of superheroes that's like the Plan Bs come down, They did whatever in issue one, and made it that they're known. This one, you just see them playing soccer. In issue two, you start off seeing them playing soccer with a several head, and it was like, man, when we start executing, one of the members was like, why? When will we start executing um prisoners and stuff like that, the escapees? And it's like, hey, since the first set of sparrows didn't really, I think that's what they call sparrows. The first set of people basically didn't, do everything right. We're coming here to clean up their shit. So we got to show them what we're doing is a thing of power. Say who's stronger and who's not. Next is we go to a meeting with the president of them saying like, hey, bro, we might want to, you know, get rid of these guys and stuff like that. And science is telling him, and it's like his his assistant was like, you do know, like the president's assistant was like, you do know, like election coming up, uh, you're in good standings with the polls. Crime rate is down, and the stock market it is up. And it's like, yeah, you know, yeah, I think we should, think of something. Yeah, so I think we should worry about these guys later on. See, let it play out. See what happens. You know what I'm saying? So he's actually benefiting from the Plan B. I'm gonna call them Plan B group of like they're more psychics. Their group is actually, that they are basically helping his election. So basically, he wants them there because it's like, man, if we're in good standings, I got nothing to worry about. So shoot, keep them where they at. Next is the we go to like a group of girls still in, and they are like, man, they're worried about Plans B's coming after them. It's like, I know they know we're hurry to leave this town before they come in, and then boom, they get a wreck, and it's like, oh my gosh, I hope they don't kill us. I hope they don't kill us, and then they see it was somebody else, and it was like, oh, thank God it's you. But at least we know we're gonna stay alive and just be put in jail and stuff like that. So they are like not where like criminals are actually like trying to leave the city, trying to leave and go out places where it's not heavily populated. I'm guessing that's what it is. Or they're trying to be put in jail so they can be protected. And that's starting to be a problem because it's about to overflow the prisons, jails, and the prisons. So it's like, what they need to do. So basically, there's uh, another group just trying to think like, man, look, we need to do something where we get these guys going and stuff like that. And also there was like five. He's one of the part of the group, the sparrows and everything like that. He's five. It's five. He's like a kid. He's used guns. He's getting ready to go to war. So I don't know what that's all about. This was a hard read because I did not know any of the characters. And it's like, okay, I'm guessing there is a part one of the Umbrella Academy, and then there's like, then there's this one, and like, and it's like I don't know nobody, and like the first one, it took so long to get this issue two from the first one. I forgot everything. I know a little bit of it. I'm gonna have to reread it, come back to it, but I don't know. This issue two was like it was a horrible read because it was like it didn't make no purpose. It just said a whole bunch of nonsense that I don't understand, and I probably missed some things. But it was like I don't understand what they're talking about. So hopefully issue three picks up and makes everything like connect and make everything feel like okay, this is the real story and this was going on because issue two it just dropped the ball. Okay, a new one. Issue one, Tales of the Shadow Man. We start in the dead side where Shadowman's just chilling, relaxing until he gets a letter from the mayor. Well, I think no, he's in the. I don't know. I don't even know what the city's called where the mayor's at, but it's a monkey. He goes over there, tells them, "Hey, we fixed your sack. We got it fixed up, tuned up, and stuff like that." He's wondering what's up with the sacks. He's like, "Hey, I don't know that. Why are you trying to get in my business? It's my business. Why I want this sacks and I want this stuff." Um, I know nothing about the Shadow Man. That's why we just running straight into it. Um, he hears some music. He went to go check it out. It's a little band that's on the dead side. A group of people, some musicians. They came on they got together and started playing music together. And then he hears his name. So he goes to New Orleans, and New Orleans have a glass curtain around them to protect them from shadow creatures from the dead side. But the Shadow Man can use his scythe, open it up, and sit up there and cross into New Orleans and stuff like that. So he goes and he finds who's calling his name. He got to be careful because there's a whole bunch of incantations weaving into the streets and material of New Orleans to like basically prohibit him from moving around and using like and since it's like daylight and everything like that and all lights does not help him, so he had to move through the shadows. So but he finds the person who's calling him and that person's choking, and he's sitting there noticing what they're choking on, and it was their own flesh. So he ended up doing something, and it's like it's a curse. So he ended up using a scythe and sliced the curse away. After that, he he was told by the victim, "Hey, the person who did this, they're in the alleyway." So he reached across through the wall and he starts strangling the person who's in the alleyway, and like he starts bleeding in his hands because it's like the person is basically a demon from the dead side, and he's sitting up there like, hold on, I got power over all kind of people. I could go, even the demons of the shadow, the dead side. So I could go in your mind and see what you're doing over here. So he went through, and his name, the demon's called Mr. Twist. And he sits up there, goes to Mr. Twist's mind, and it's like, oh, Mr. Twist is actually a human, but some reason why he's on like the he's compelled by the dead side to do things, and it's like he goes, Shadow Man's able to go through his mind and see what he's been through and stuff like that, but he sees him doing something, Mr. Twist doing something with a woman, and when he looks in the front of like Mr. Twist, he sees that his body is eating the woman, and it's like, what the world? And he's like, yeah, I just want you to know, me and you was in this together. Mr. Twist says that to him, and then like Shadow Man is outside of his mind, like got out of his mind, and Mr. Twist is gone. Then the victim who was choking on the curse comes up and find out she's a detective, Elisa. Oh man, I had the last name, but it's her name's Elisa. That's her first name, and she is basically saying she was looking for a serial killer, but it seemed like the serial killer find her, and that's Mr. Twist, and basically saying, "I didn't think you was real, Shadow Man, but you know, I'm happy you came, and yet you are." And he was like, I got a price you have to pay, and it's like, yeah, I gotta pay Boone or whatever like that. And it's normally like normally like a memory or something I gotta pay, right? And he was like, yeah, but yours is going to be a little different. I need your help. I'll find your serial killer, but can you find this person? And he gives an ID of a guy, and he's looking, the guy he's looking for. So it seems like they're going to be helping each other. One solving a missing person case. That's going to be the detective to find his Shadowman missing person. I don't know why he's looking for him. And the other one is, and Shadowman is going to find this serial killer and bring him to uh, probably justice. But we'll see in the next issue. And I'm not gonna lie, it was a really interesting story. And I'm happy I started. Yeah, but you know, I hope it don't have no dead spots. You know what I'm saying? No, it don't drop on the second issue. Don't drop to make it be like, I don't know about this. But we'll see. Time will tell. All right, another new one. Event Horizon, The Dark. No, Event Horizon, Dark Descent. Now, you're going to hear some pages opening, and that's because if you do hear that, that's because I need to get references of what I read, because this is really just like they're building up the situation, like they're building up everything. But we start with Dr. Williams finding his wife, during the funeral, like, finding his wife dead, having a funeral for her, and all kind of stuff like that. And you can tell that, he's been having dreams of her ever since she died. And he works on the New Horizon project, and he's part of that. And the thing is that he's having dreams of her, and telling him to come find her and helping him solve like problems with the reactor that's helps them, what is called the gravity drive, to help them get to New Horizon or the Horizon, the Event Horizon situation. Uh, like he said, he even tells a general like, "Hey, I have let me see, like I have found the problem that might be able to, and I found it in a dream, and it was basically his wife, his dead wife. He's telling this to the at the funeral, to the general at the funeral, because the general was trying to tell him like, hey, take some time off. But he telling his wife, he said his, but he's telling the general, yeah, I think I actually solved the problem of the overloading and stuff like that. Then we can, and it came to me in a dream, and it's just weird. But it seems like it's not her. It seems like whatever's about to go down, a creature is calling out for him to come find him by using his wife as the bait to come do everything. And so, times go by. That whole situation happened 10 months before the jump point. Now we're a day before the jump point, and we're meeting the whole entire crew and all their issues. You know what I'm saying? So we have crew members that have problems that they're running away from, and we're just learning about the crew members themselves, this whole issue. And it's not bad because you learn about them. We have Dr. Jennifer. I'm always going to say the names, that the part of their names that's easier. So let me read out what Dr. Jennifer is. A U.S. quantum physics. After the death of her sister, Earth no longer feels like home. Next is Lieutenant Sarah, China, from China. She is fleeing an abusive partner. Dr. Peter, Nigeria, ship's physician. He is terminally ill with cancer. No one knows but him. Captain John Kilpack. So you might hear me say John or Kilpack when I mention him in other issues, but he's from the UK, a devoted queer Christian. His heart lies heavy with his late father's disappointment. Okay, so we have Yusef Quinn, Turkey, chef, engineer. He likes to fix things and gets frustrated when he can't also fix people. They're loud and annoying. Space is quiet. Devin Connors, Australia, helps. Um, he ships a navigator. He is carrying a secret, and we're going to find out a little bit of the secret. It's not going to be the full story, but we'll find out in a little bit. And once I introduce these what is last person, Nita Nita, India, communication officer. Unlike many of her peers, she's not running from anything. So she's basically one of the innocent ones that's like, all right, she's there. So they're all prepping and getting everything done to take off, and like not take off, but like to basically activate the gravity drive to send them to a destination that normally takes like thousands of years. That's going to have them get there in like a Sunday drive. So about a day or some hours. All right. So Nita tells everybody, hey, look, if before we, I'm gonna be working my station all night. If you gotta send something back home to leave a message for anybody, mostly nobody do. Come with me now and we'll send it out. So it's 4 hours to the jump, and cause Nina gets a Nia, Nia, she gets a message talking about the navigator Devin, Devlin. I mean, his name is Devlin Connors. I said that when I was reading up. But there's an accident. They need to report him to the captain, and he might get it. And Devlin needs to go to the brig, get locked up. But Devlin intercepts Nina, Nia, and tells him like, "Look, I know that message is about me. It was an accident." And here he goes. It's like Dev, and I'm gonna just read what happened. She says, Dev, what happened? He says, it was an accident. And you didn't turn yourself, she says, you didn't turn yourself in? Dude, that's fucked up. Well, dude, that's fucked. They're calling for your arrest. And he's like, what do you mean arrest? It was an accident. And she said, a kid died. A kid's dead because of it. And she's telling him basically, I gotta follow protocol, tell the captain, blah blah blah. And he's like, man, he'll throw me in the break. So he's not about to have, you know, he's not about to go on the break and get arrested and stuff like that. So he basically like tries to stop her and basically kills her. Now he kills her, in which this is the crazy thing. Nothing would happen if that was going on. He kills her, and like while everybody's still setting up, it's 2 hours from the jump point, an hour to the jump point, and everybody's just sending stuff. And like there's one station telling another, telling the crew of the of in Horizon, hey, tell Williams that he made a good ship, and Williams on it. So now we know that Williams actually on the ship, and Williams going to be part of Event Horizon, and he's basically saying how, and he's just recollecting like, man, I didn't know, my wife was going through some stuff, and it's like, like something was eating her up and stuff like that, how sick she was, and I think that because how the panels show in this comic that the thing that's calling out for him to successfully build thing made her sick, made her kill herself or whatever, and made him and then now reaching out to him because of his grief to sit up there and get to basically finish the event horizon, to get the event horizon successful. And now we're about to see the launch, and they're about to make it. So now everybody's going to sleep and are getting ready or just sitting down while the gravity drive is being active. So next issue, we'll see what happens once they activate it. And if you watch the movie, you know the movie is after the ship returns. We're finding out what happened. I think this we're finding out what happens during everything. I think the only difference is I think Williams was after. I think Williams didn't was not on the ship. He was he went on a different ship to see the return of 7 years later after the Event Horizon. So I don't know if the movie's different from what it is, but we're gonna find out. I know there's a little difference in that one because I watched the movie. So we'll see what happens next issue though.